get a variety of responses. One typical response would be that he doesn't feel like, or he continues to maintain that I'm more involved than he is, and that he does, have his boundaries between work and home. And, that's one typical response. Another one, he tends to redirect things a lot. If I bring a concern to him, he'll direct it, and then all of a sudden it's on me, but we'll never address the concern that's at hand. Okay. And so, all of a sudden it'll go back to, well, you're not meeting my needs with other things, so that becomes the focus of the conversation. And, that wasn't the issue that was brought up at hand. So I have brought up things before, and he's very well aware of how I feel. But just, it is what it is. Those are his kind of typical responses.
Okay. And can you think of anything that you or your spouse has done? What kind of efforts has been put forward to reduce some of the stress load?
Any chance we get to go to an event together or spend time together, we try to do that. To his, I don't know if he would agree with this, but I have cut back so much of my involvement where I'm doing kind of basic level stuff. It's kind of like I am a dues-paying member of many of these organizations, and I'm not the kind of person to let my dues go to waste. So I'm going to be involved at some level because I paid, $300 to be an AKA for the year. So I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and just say, oh, I'm an AKA, I'm in the chapter. I'm not going to go to a meeting and get the information that's going on because I feel like I'm owed something once I become a member. Or once I pay my dues. I want to, at least get my money's worth in terms of attending events or things like that. So I feel like as compared to what I used to do, I am down to a minimal level of activity with each organization. So I cut back on things that I was doing in order to decrease stress. Also, just trying to help out at home more, because he says that he does more stuff at home than I do, which is fine. I try to do what I can and try to help out where I can, but the problem is, even when I do that, it's never enough. He'll always find something that I'm not doing right. And the frustrating part is, he doesn't take accountability for things that he's not doing right either. At least I'm upfront. When I'm wrong with something, I'll be the first one to admit it. But when he's wrong with something, he never takes accountability for it. I always have to pry him to apologize, which is really not an apology. And he doesn't realize that some of the very things that he talks to me or gets mad at me about that frustrate him, that he does the same thing, but he has a hard time seeing it until I point it out to him. And he's like, oh, yeah. But then it's still like this double standard of, well, I can do it, but you can't. So.
Okay. So have you all had counseling before previously?
We had premarital counseling, and we had a couple that came to talk with us last year, a Christian couple. They talked with us maybe once.
Okay. Did you see that session as being beneficial? Did you like the counselors that you spoke to?
I did, because the one thing that I left that meeting feeling like was at least I'm not crazy.
Okay.
I felt like some of the points that I made that were difficult for him to see, the other couple agreed with and said that he needed to kind of chill out on some of his behaviors.
Okay.
So at least I felt like, well, at least I'm not the only person here feeling like this.
Okay.
So it was helpful in that regard.
Okay. And why didn't you all continue seeing the counselor?
The last I remember is that when we had some times, and Corey and I had a conversation, and because there were some definite things that he felt he needed to work on with regards to progress, I had put it kind of in his court to call them and continue the arrangement to get set up, and he didn't call, but not to say that I couldn't call, because I'm not, like I said, I'll be accountable. I didn't call either, but our last conversation was that he was going to call, and he didn't, so I just let it go.
Okay. Do you think that you all need the counseling?
Possibly, probably. We have a lot of issues still pending with that. We have a lot of issues surrounding our finances that probably could be worked at better, that although Corey says he's actively working to change, it still comes out that there are issues in his perspective, when in reality it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So I guess that could definitely help, because clearly when I communicate to him what my needs are, how I want to be treated, what my expectations are, it doesn't change. It ends up going back to his original thought process or way of dealing with the situation, which is frustrating to me.
Okay. And so you said that the couple that you all seen was a Christian counselor.
Yes.
Okay. And you felt like they were pretty fair?
Yeah, they were very fair.
Okay.
They were very fair.
Okay.
And they were a couple who had both been in their careers and had a successful path in their careers, and had been involved in the community, as well as had kids. So they knew the plight of working and having extra things going on and still maintaining a marriage and supporting each other and all of those things.
Okay. And so you all have work, you all have school, you all have your volunteer activities. Do you have children?
No.
No children at all?
Nor do I want any right now.
Okay. You don't want any right now? Okay. And does your spouse want children?
Yes, he does.
Okay.